Calvin Castine. Might work better if I grab the microphone. This is Calvin Castine. We are at the Bowl Mart Lanes in outside of beautiful downtown Rouse's Point. Actually, just outside of beautiful downtown Rouse's Point for CVAC Varsity Bowling. And today's game features the visiting Beekmantown Eagles and the home team, the Northeastern Clinton Central School Cougars. We'll be handling the camera for about half of today's contest. And when we leave, I believe John Winnick will be taking over in the camera. I've got to head for a basketball game in about an hour and 20 minutes. And we hope to have Jim Tierney arriving very shortly to handle the play-by-play. Jim, of course, the voice, not the voice, but the voice of Cougar bowling in the North Country. And just like that, the first ball of the game is thrown. That was thrown by Mr. James Tierney. Carries a 195 average and a 3 handicap. Up first, the Eagle A team is Josh Laporte with a 172 average. Alan Mavor for the Cougars keeps the string of strikes going. Now Tony Carter for Beekmantown. Carter gets a late drop in the 10, avoids the split. Carter has a 174 average. Mavor carries a 184 average. Now here's Jonathan Gadway. And Gadway gets a strike. So that's 3 in a row for the Cougars. As we have Carter going for his spare. Looks like the 4-7. Now Adam Chucker Chipola with a 193 average. 0.4 behind Nate Roberts has a 193.4 average. Here's Chipola's ball. And that's 4 in a row for Northeastern Clinton. Now Darryl Newell, the best average on the lanes today, carrying a 202 average. He gets 9 pins in his first ball, gets a late drop, avoids a baby split. Here's Nate Robertson. He's the first Cougar to not strike here in the first frame. So he'll try to mark and make it 5 marks for the Cougars. And everybody has marked so far. As Newell marks, here's Roberts, and he's going to pick up his spare. And it'll quickly bring us to Brian Vaughn, who carries a 184 average. Gadway, I don't know if we mentioned his 180 average. And Vaughn gets a strike. So this first game here in the A division is going to get over kind of quickly if they keep throwing just one ball. Now the anchor bowler, a late drop on the 7. Tyler Senecal avoids the 7-10 split. He carries a 192 average. So you've got some mighty fine bowlers here on both teams. There's Laporte getting 9 pins in his first ball. He, of course, was working on a strike. And will everybody mark in the first frame? No. The anchor bowler Senecal misses the 10 pin. Well, the first open of the game is on the scoreboard. Tierney coming up in lane 14 as Laporte bowls and knocks it down for the spare. Here's Tierney looking for a double. He's not going to get a double with that one. And he gets 6 pins in his first ball. That'll bring up Carter, who's working on a spare. And Carter will pick off 7 pins in his first ball. Tierney going for the spare. He's got it. Perfectly played. Picked up that 10 pin. So that gives him 2 marks in 2 frames. And there's Carter going for his spare as Mavor steps up for the Cougars. And Carter spares. Now here's Mavor, who's working on a strike. And Mavor doubles. So a double for Alan Mavor. Mavor, as we said, with a 184 average. Averages again quickly in case we skip somebody. Josh Laporte 172, Tony Carter 174, Daryl Newell, who's up right now for Beekmantown with a 202. He strikes. Brian Vaughn 184, Tyler Senecal 192. Here's Jonathan Gadway, and Gadway working on a strike, gets 7 pins in his first ball for the Cougars. Tierney 195, Nate Roberts 193.4, Adam Chipola 193, Alan Mavor 184, and Jonathan Gadway 180. All right, Brian Vaughn gets 9 pins in his first ball, and here's Gadway spares. Cougars are giving up a few pins, but we're not sure how many here. The Cougar handicaps are 3, 5, 5, 12, and 15. Chipola strikes. Mr. Jim Tierney, who's former manager here at the Bowl Mart, will be coming shortly. He can probably look at the averages and instantly tell us what the handicaps would be. We'd have to do a little ciphering in our head to figure it out, so we'll wait till he comes and he'll tell us what the Beekmantown handicaps are. Here's Roberts. He gets a late drop, and he's going to have a tough spare on that split. Here's Senecal, and Senecal gets the spare. That follows is open with a spare. Here's Roberts with a very tough. He goes for the wood, gets the pin. Made sure he got the 1 pin. Now here's James Tierney starting frame number 3, and he leaves the 10 pin. And it brings up Josh Laporte for the Eagles. He gets 9 in his first ball. Here's Tierney going for his spare. 10 pin is covered. So Tierney is marked in all 3 frames. Laporte has marked in his first 2, looking to make it 3 in a row. He and Tierney at the moment are bowling exactly the same, and he picks up the spare. They both have 39 after the second frame with a spare in the third. Here in the third, here's Mavor. Mavor gets 7 pins. And I'll bring up Carter. Mavor, of course, was working on that double. Here's Carter. He's working on 2 spares. Actually, only working on the latest spare, and he strikes. So he gets his 3rd mark. Tony Carter with a strike, and I'll bring up Mavor with his spare. The ball is out there, and he's no double wood. The double wood got him. 1 pin directly behind the other was the deciding factor. That double wood got him on that one, and 9 pins on the first ball for Daryl Newell. Newell was working on a strike. Here's Gadway. Gadway is struck and spared, and nope, it's going to stay there. Not going to fall. In the meantime, Newell picks up his spare. At the moment, the bottom of the scoreboard, it's 249 for the Cougars, 253 for the Eagles. It was 145 to 144 as Gadway spares after his first frame. So this game is really a dead heat at this point. A strike for Brian Vaughn. And here's Adam Chipola. And Chipola strikes. That'll bring up Senecal for the Eagles. And Senecal strikes. Now here's Roberts for the Cougars. think he's already had that spare, or maybe not him. I think somebody else had that spare and picked it up. Here's Tierney's first ball in the fourth, and he gets 6 pins. He's got a double wood to contend with, but with the head pin still there, Roberts gets 8 for the frame. The head pin's still there. He's got a good shot at picking this one up. Should get enough action to pick up that double wood. And he does. The ball hitting off the head pin and carries into the double wood and continues on in a forward motion rather than ricocheting at that point. And a strike to lead off the fourth for Josh Laporte on the Beekmantown side. Reading the bottom of the third frame at this point after one bowler, it's 303 for Beekmantown, 294 for the Cougars. Alan Mavor strikes. And he'll bring up Tony Carter. And Carter gets a late drop on the 10. A lot of late drops today so far. Now here's Gadway going for his first ball in the fourth, obviously looking for a strike. And he's gonna pick off 8 pins on his first ball. Gadway working on a spare. 302, 313, but the Cougars have a half a bowler advantage on the Eagles at the moment. So Beekmantown actually leading this, and Beekmantown also has 2 strikes and a spare to be working on. Gadway picks up his spare. Here's Newell, got that 202 average. He strikes. So he is spared, struck. Here's Chipola for the Cougars, leaves the 10 pin. 10 pin. In the games I've noticed, 10 pin seems to be Chipola's nemesis. His arch rival, so to speak, is the 10 pin. 8 pins knocked down for Vaughn. He was working on a strike. And Chipola gets a spare. Boys standings, AuSable Valley is in first, followed by Northeastern, Mariah, and Beekmantown as we're taping this. Here's Roberts for the Cougars. And Roberts gets 9 pins in his first ball. As Vaughn got that spare, and it'll bring up Senecal up for the Eagles. And Senecal gets the same spare as Roberts gets. Roberts picks up his. At this point, let's see, 342 for Beekmantown, with another ball to be thrown. They've actually picked up about 20 pins here, and the Cougars will have 321 with everything thrown in the fourth. That's looking at the bottom of the third frame. Looking at the bottom of the fourth frame, the Cougars have 371. And Beekmantown 393, so Beekmantown 22 pins ahead of the Cougars. Tierney strikes to start things in the fifth as Josh Laporte struck for Beekmantown to start things in the Eagle half of the fifth. Here's Carter. And Carter, another late drop to 10, hits the deck and he avoids a nasty split. Here's Mavor. Mavor leaves a 6-10. Getting back to the standings, the Cougars are 9 games behind AuSable in second place. Beekmantown's in fourth place, but they're only 6 games behind the Cougars, so it's a very tight match. In fact, half a game behind them is Plattsburgh High School. So 6.5 game spread between the second, third, fourth, and fifth place teams. For AuSable Valley, 9 games up over the Cougars, 12 games up over Mariah, 15 over Beekmantown and 15.5 over PHS. Peru's 24 games behind. Ticonderoga 35, and Saranac is 41.5. And it looks like Mr. Tierney has arrived. There's Gadway. Gadway's first ball. We have Newell set for his spare. He got 6 in the first ball.
And Darren Newell will pick up his spare. I'd like to welcome you to the Beekmantown Eagles NCCS Cougars match as Gadway gets one of his 2 on the split. We have the 4th bowler, Brian Vaughn, 184 average, and he'll strike in the 5th frame. Adam Chipola for Northeastern. Chipola will leave the 10-pin in. The head pin will come across the lane and carry it. That's what we call a messenger going out, coming around. And the anchor bowler, Tyler Senecal for the Eagles. He'll strike also. So right now the Eagles in the 5th frame pick up a double from their leadoff bowler, Josh Laporte. As Roberts will leave the 10-pin as his messenger come up short. They'll pick up 6 marks in the frame as leadoff bowler James Tierney working on a strike, looking for a double. He got that one way out there, and he got a washout, 5-pin washout. As Roberts will spare, Tierney shooting the washout will need to hit the head pin on the left-hand side, pushing it into the 10-pin. And he will get 4 of the 5. So Northeastern in the 5th frame picks up 4 marks to 6 from Beekmantown. And Beekmantown will take a 50-pin lead into the 6th frame. Has the leadoff bowler Laporte will throw a triple. Laporte strikes in the 4th, 5th, and 6th frame. As Tierney open to start the 6th for Northeastern. Mavor will also leave a washout. Tony Carter, or no, excuse me. Yep, Tony Carter for the Eagles. He'll strike in the 6th. Carter, 174 average bowler. As Mavor will get 2 of his 3 pins. Third bowler, Darren Newell. Darren, highest average bowler on the Eagles at 202, and he strikes. Third bowler, John Gadway for Northeastern. He also strikes. So Northeastern digging themselves a hole as Tierney and Mavor open. Gadway picks up the pace with a strike. But on the other side for the Eagles, all 3 bowlers have struck. Coming to the 4th bowler, who 4th and 5th bowlers are on strikes, as Vaughn will get 7. Chipola will leave the 10-pin. So Laporte leads off the 6th with a triple, followed by strikes from Carter and Newell. Vaughn will pick up his spare, as Chipola will spare the 10-pin. That's a 2nd mark only for Northeastern in the 6th. Tyler Senecal working on a strike, and he will leave the 4-pin. They'll bring up anchor bowler Roberts. Nate Roberts, a 193 average anchor bowler for Northeastern. On the other end, Tyler Senecal, 192 average. Roberts comes up high, leaving the 3-6 spare. As Senecal will miss the 4-pin. So we're going to move into the 7th frame here, as the Eagles from Beekmantown will pick up 5 marks aided by the triple from Josh Laporte. The Cougars will muster 3 as Roberts picks up the spare and is now a 60-pin difference with 4 frames to go as Tierney comes up high, leaves the 4-pin. Laporte working on a 3-bagger. Laporte, 172 average leadoff bowler for the Eagles. He'll leave just the 5-pin. As Tierney will spare the 4-pin. James Tierney, 195 average for the Cougars, the highest average bowler on their team. Followed by Chapola and Roberts at 193, Mavor 184, and John Gadway at 180. Laporte, 172 average leadoff bowler, he spares. Carter at 174, 184 for Vaughn. Anchor bowler Senecal for Eagles, 192, 202 for the middle bowler Darren Newell. Mavor comes up light, leaves the 2-7 spare. As Tony Carter will come up heavy, leaves the 6-7-10. As Mavor will spare his split. Carter, a little more difficult split to shoot. He'll want to just barely hit the 6-pin on the right-hand side, pushing it into the 7-pin. The ball will carry out the 10, as he got quite a bit of the 6-pin, so he'll get 2 of his 3. Gadway working on a strike for Northeastern, looking to double, and he does. Gadway picks up a double in the 6th and 7th frame for Northeastern. As Newell working on a strike for the Eagles, he crosses over and he also strikes. So Darren Newell he'll pick up the double for the Eagles as Chapola leaves the 10-pin and he gets another messenger across and carries it. Vaughn for the Eagles, he'll strike. Bringing the anchor bowlers, Roberts for Northeastern, Senecal for Beekmantown as Roberts carries. A lot of pin action there the last 3-4 balls. As Senecal will cross and leave the 6-10 spare. Northeastern will pick up 6 marks, aided by the double from Gadway. Right now, the best that the Eagles can do is 5, aided by the double from Newell. And we'll move to the 8th frame with Northeastern boys as Senecal misses. So we will go to the 8th frame as the Eagles will pick up 4 marks, Cougars 6. So it will be a 60-pin difference with 3 frames to go. As Laporte spares to begin the 8th frame for the Eagles, Tierney will look for a double and he'll leave just the 7-pin. Again, we'd like to welcome our viewers. This is a home match for Northeastern Clinton, hosting the Eagles from Beekmantown. As Tony Carter will leave the 6-pin, Tierney will spare the 7-pin. They're in the home stretch right now of the CVAC bowling. There's 3 matches left for each school, as Carter will spare the 6-pin. Mavor will leave a 7-pin. Standings right now, AuSable Valley is in first place in the boys, 59-21. Northeastern 9 behind at 50-30. Again, Northeastern's hosting Beekmantown. And Sable Valley will travel to Mineville to meet Mariah. As Newell will leave a 10-pin. Alan Maver, he'll miss the 7-pin. Mariah is 3 back of Northeastern, 12 games behind Sable Valley at 47-33. And then Beekmantown in the middle of the pack at 44-36 as Newell spares a 10-pin. Gadway working on a double. He'll triple. So John Gadway has a turkey in the 6th, 7th, and 8th. As Vaughn answers with a double. So Brian Vaughn doubles in the 7th and 8th for Beekmantown. So we have Chipola working on a strike. He's also looking for a double. He comes up high, leaves the fence on the right side. 3, 6, 10 spare. As Senecal will get 9, leaves a 7-pin. Chipola will spare his fence as looked like a chop, but the ball darted sharply and he carried the 10-pin. Senecal will spare the 7-pin. Roberts working on a strike, looking for a double. He's coming up high, leaving the 3-pin. So with the double by Vaughn for Beekmantown, they're going to get 6 marks. As Tierney starts out the 9th frame for the Cougars, leaving the 6-pin. Roberts will miss the 3-pin. So we got 4 marks for Northeastern, aided by the double of Gadway. It is now a 60-pin lead by the Eagles of Beekmantown with 2 frames to go. As Tierney spares the 6-pin. Laporte will strike. So 172 average Josh Laporte is bowling well to lead in the leadoff spot for Beekmantown, as Maver will come up high, leaving the 3-pin for Northeastern. Tony Carter, he'll strike. Carter, 174 average second bowler for Beekmantown, will strike as Maver will miss the 3-pin. Third bowlers, Newell for Eagles, Gadway for Northeast Clinton Cougars, as Newell will leave the 7-pin. Gadway working on a turkey will leave the 1-2 spare. Got it out a little too far, a little too much speed. Ball didn't get back quick enough. Again, this is the first game. This is the boys A match. We'll be bringing you the boys B and then the girls. As Newell misses the 7-pin. Gadway will spare his. There's 2 teams in the boys, the 10 bowlers, top 5 and then the other 5 boys, but it all counts the same because they have 8 points for the match. As Vaughn triples in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Chipola will strike in the 9th. So 3 of the 4 bowlers for Beekmantown have struck in the 9th frame. The only one has a strike so far for Northeastern is Chipola. As Senecal will come up high, and he will leave just a 10-pin. Roberts will strike in the 9th. As we move into the last frame, the Cougars will pick up 4 marks in the 9th. The Eagles will pick up 5, aided by the triple from Vaughn, and it'll be an 80 pin difference. As Laporte working on a strike, leaves a solid 10 pin. 80 pin difference. The Cougars have to make up as Tierney sends one out the window and he ends up with a 1-2-7. The Cougars, who I believe at one time were probably about 13, 14 points behind Sable Valley, have crept within 9 at a first. Are trying to hang on here at home against Beekmantown as Laporte spares, so does Tierney. Laporte shooting his fill ball in the 10th frame. He'll cross over and he'll strike. So Josh Laporte will go 216. That will be 44 pins above his 172 average as Tierney goes 176, 19 pins under his 195 average. So the leadoff bowler Laporte has got his team in the lead as the second bowler Carter is adding to it with doubling in the 9th and 10th. As Mavor goes through the head pin, leaves the 4-6-7. Carter working on a double, and he'll triple as he goes Brooklyn and carries the 5 pin forward. Mavor will get 2 of his 3 pins. Allen will go 147. That'll be 37 pins under his 184 average. As Carter will strike again on the Brooklyn side. Carter will go 213. So that'll be 39 pins above his 174 average. So the first 2 bowlers for the Eagles well above their average. And on the other hand, the first 2 bowlers for Northeastern under theirs. So it's about a 100 pin difference with 3 bowlers to go as Gadway leaves the 110 spare. Newell will strike. Gadway will get 1 pin. So John will go 189. That'll be 9 pins above his 180 average. As Newell will leave the 10 pin. Chapola on lane 14 will strike. As Newell will miss the 10 pin. Newell will go 196. 6 pins under his 202 average. As Chapola will come up light, leaving the 2-5 spare. Vaughn working on a 3-bagger. Came wide, leaves the 1-2-4-7 spare. As Chapola will get 1 of his 2 pins, and Adam will have a nice game at 226. As Vaughn gets 3 of his 4 pins, Roberts will double in the 9th and 10th. So Chapola's 193 average, he goes 226. So that's 33 pins above his average. He'll be the only bowler for Northeastern above their average. As Senecal strikes for the Eagles. Vaughn will go 204. He'll be 20 pins above his 184 average. As Roberts spares, Roberts will go 169. He'll be 24 under his 193 average. As the Cougars will get bested here in the first game of the A match by better than 100 pins. As Senecal picks up his spare, goes 164. So he's 28 under his 192 average, but the we have three 200s for the Eagles from Josh Laporte at 216, 213 for Carter, 202 for Vaughn. Their three lower average bowlers end up carrying them. They win the first game by 104 pins. As Chapola is the only one above his average for Northeastern at 226. And we'll be bringing you the B game, or the girls. We'll be bringing you the girls game in a moment. We'd like to welcome bowlers here to our second match. This will be the girls match between Northeast Clinton and the Eagles from Beekmantown. We'll get you an update on the first game as we have the leadoff bowler Melody Bell for the Eagles. Bell, a 153 average bowler. Leadoff bowler, he leaves just a 10 pin. As we have Cassie Roberts for Northeastern. Cassie will get 6 pins. Cassie, a 191 average leadoff bowler for the Cougars. As Bell will miss the 10 pin. So this is the girls match. There's only one girls team for each school. So it's a 4-point girls system as Roberts will spare. We have Serena Quilliam, 155 average bowler, and Serena will leave the 5-7 split. Northeast Clinton is tied with Peru for second place at 27 and 13. They're 8.5 behind Ticonderoga, who's off to a fantastic start at 35.5, 4.5. As second bowler Katie Rabidou for Northeastern will get 9. Quillam will get one of her 2 pins. Beekmantown is 22 and 18. They're 5 behind Northeastern and Peru are tied for second, which are 8.5 back of tie. As Rabidou will spare. Kayla Pellerin, 161 average, third bowler for the Eagles. She gets 5 as a third bowler. Laura Lee Para will get the split for 7-10 as Pellerin will spare. She'll be the first Eagle bowler with a mark here in the first. As Laura Lee will get 2 of her 3 pins. Bringing up the fourth bowlers, Jerry Kaplan for the Eagles, and Kaplan will strike. We have Megan Sorrell for Northeastern, and Sorrell will leave the 4-6 split. We have Jessica Caldwell for the Eagles. Anchor bowler, she'll leave just a 6 pin. Caldwell and Roberts are the leaders of the women, of the girls at 191 averages both. As Sorrell will get one of her 2 pins. Caldwell will be shooting the 6-pin, and she spares as the anchor bowler, Bayshard, will finish the first frame for Northeastern. She will get 8. So we have 3 out of the 5 bowlers will mark for the Eagles, as Roberts will start off the second with a strike. Bayshard will spare. So 3 bowlers for the Cougars will also mark. Then we're moving to the second frame as Roberts already struck. Katie Rabideau will get 7. As Melody Bell will strike. Bell, 153 average. We have Quilliam at 155. Pellerin at 161. 169 for Kaplan. 191 for Codwell. That's on the Eagles side. As Quilliam gets 5 pins, Rabideau will get 1 of her 3. For the Cougars, Roberts at 191, followed by Katie Rabideau 133, Laura Lee 140, Megan 149, Kristen Bayshard at 167. As Quilliam will get 4 pins, as Laura Lee will strike in the second. Bringing up Kayla Pellerin for the Eagles. Kayla will leave just the head pin. Sorrell for Northeastern, she will leave the 4 pin. As Pellerin shoots the head pin and she'll miss it. As Sorrell shoots the 4 pin and she'll spare it. Bringing up the 4th bowler, Jerry Kaplan for the Eagles. Kaplan working on a strike. Looking for a double, and she'll get it. So Kaplan strikes in the first and second frame, as Bayshard will leave just the 2 pin.
Cassie, get the white sheet, please. Thank you.
Codwell for the Eagles, as Bayshard goes by the 2 pin. Codwell gets 6. So the Cougars will pick up 3 marks in the second. Codwell finishing out the second for the Eagles with a spare will give them 4. So it is going to be a 24 pin difference as Melody Bell leads off the 3rd frame with a 5-7 split for Beekmantown. The Beekmantown Eagle girls won the first game 977 to 882 as Roberts leaves just the 7 pin. Kaplan had a 192 game and Melody Bell 187, followed by Codwell at 179, Serena Quilliam 171, and Kayla Pellerin had 122. Bell will get 1 of her 2 pins. On the Northeastern side, Cassie Roberts was high at 178, followed by Laura Lee 151, Megan 143, as Roberts spares. Kristen Bayshard 136, Katie Rabideau 119. Again, this is a handicap match. Northeastern has 155 a game. Beekmantown has 126. So Beekmantown will be spotting Northeastern 29 pins to start the game. And that's pretty much, they're 30 pins ahead right now. Northeastern is, and that's pretty much the handicap that's involved. They're bowling right about scratch, opening the 2.5 frames that they bowled so far. Has Serena Quilliam will get 7 pins for her frame. Katie Rabideau will get 5 for hers. They'll be bringing up the third bowlers, Kayla Pellerin and Laura Lee Paya. Again, we'd like to welcome our viewers in the northern tier and around northeastern New York watching this match between the Eagles of Beekmantown and the Cougars of Northeastern. Has Pellerin will leave the 5-8-10 split. Laura Lee will leave just the 5-pin. And Pellerin will get one of her 3 pins. Laura Lee will miss the 5-pin. Bringing up Kaplan for the Eagles. Kaplan working on a double, leaves the 10-pin. As Sorrell also leaves the 10-pin. Kaplan will shooting the 10-pin. And she'll spare it. Sorrell on the other lane also shooting the 10-pin. And she'll miss it. So after 3 bowlers, each team has 1 mark apiece. The difference, 30 pins, as Bayshard will get 7 for the Cougars. Codwell will cross over and strike. It's 191 average. Jess Codwell will strike in the 3rd. So the last 2 bowlers for Northeastern, or last 2 bowlers for the Eagles will mark, as Bayshard marks for Northeastern. 2 marks apiece, as Robert starts out the 4th with 7. The difference will be 20 pins going into the 4th frame. Cougars holding a slim lead the 2nd game, as Bell will get a strike as the head pin seemed to go to the wall and come across. Carry the 10 for her, as Robert spares to begin the 4th frame. Again, Roberts was high for Northeastern in the first game at 178. Bell was 2nd high for the Eagles at 187. Kaplan having the highest game on the lanes at 192. As Serena Quilliam looking for her first mark, she strikes in the 4th. As Rabideau will leave just the 1-2. Kayla Pellerin will strike. So the Eagles have come alive as the first 3 bowlers have struck in the 4th frame, as Rabideau opens in the 4th for Northeastern. As Kaplan will get 7. Laura Lee will get 9. Again, if you'd like to be a hometown viewer, you send your donation to Hometown Cable, 1477 Ridge Road, Champlain, New York, 12919, as Kaplan spares for the Eagles. Laura Lee will also spare for Northeastern. Bringing up anchor bowler Codwell, working on a strike, looking for a double, and she'll get it. So Codwell will strike in the fourth frame for the Eagles, as Sorrell will leave the 4-6-7 split. So the double from Codwell, aided by the other marks, other strikes from the first three bowlers for the Eagles, will pick up 6 marks in the fourth frame. As Sorrell will get 7 for the frame. Roberts will start off the fifth frame and she'll get 7. Bayshard ending the fourth frame for Northeastern. She'll strike. Northeastern will pick up three marks in the fourth to 6 marks for the Eagles. The Cougars are ahead by 20 pins, but the Eagles have strikes working in the fourth. So it's about an even game with 6 frames to go, as Roberts spares to begin the fifth frame for Northeastern. Bell will leave the 10 pin. We're at the Bowl Mart, home match for Northeastern girls and boys bowling team, has Katie Rabideau will get 7. We're taping this at the Bowl Mart, lanes 11 and 12. That's the girls' home lanes here, as Bell misses the 10 pin. Our third and final game will be the boys' B match, as Rabideau chops 2 of the 3 pins. Serena Quilliam will get 8. As Serena will be shooting her 2 pins, she'll get 1 of the 2. Laura Lee will leave the 7 pin. Other bowlers for Northeastern on the extra squad: Natasha Generou, Bethany Grant, Kelly Smart, Kelsey Deso, Allison Sweeney, Brittany Metzger, Marlena Hogel. For the girls, has Kayla Pellerin strikes for the Eagles. Laura Lee misses the 7 pin. On the boys' side, we have extras. We have Jared Borey, Ryan Baker, Josh Friend, Billy Siebert, Charlie Martin, and James Carey, as Jerry Kaplan will leave the 1-2 spare. Sorrell will get 4 pins. And Kaplan will spare her 2. Sorrell will also spare. Anchor bowlers Codwell and Bayshard, as Codwell leaves a 5-10 split. Bayshard will carry. Kristen will get the first double for Northeastern. And Northeastern will pick up 4 marks, aided by that double. Right now the Eagles have 3, aided by the double from Pellerin. And Codwell will get 1 of her 2 pins. So going to half a game done. It looks like it's about a 3-pin difference. The Eagles are ahead by 3 pins with half a game to go, as Bell starts out with a strike. Roberts leaves the 7-9 split. Serena will get 9, leaving just the 10 pin. Roberts will get one of her 2 pins. Quilliam will spare. Rabideau will strike here in the 6th. As third bowler Kayla Pellerin working on a double, looking for a triple. She gets 9. Laura Lee also gets 9. After this match, there'll be 3 matches left for the bowling team, and then they go to sectionals, which will be at North Bowl Lanes as Pellerin spares. So does Paya. Again, sectionals is a scratch tournament. They bowl 3 games in the morning, take a break, bowl 3 games in the afternoon. The top team after that, scratch pins, represent Section 7 in Niagara Falls, first weekend of March, as Kaplan will strike here in the 6th. Sorrell will leave the 5 pin. Jess Codwell will get 7 for her first shot in the 6th. Sorrell will pick up the 5 pin. After the winners are determined, then they take the next 6 highest averages, both on the boys and girls side, to form an all-star team. And Codwell will spare. Kristen Bayshard will triple. So Bayshard triples, gives the Cougars 4 marks. All 5 girls mark for the Eagles. It is 10-pin lead by the Eagles with 4 frames to go as Roberts crosses, leaves just the 6-pin. Bell will leave the 6-10. Roberts will go by the 6-pin. As Bell will leave just the 6-pin. So both leadoff bowlers open to begin the 7th frame. As Rabideau will get 4, her first shot here in the 7th. Rabideau had a 119 her first game to go with her 133 average. As Serena Quilliam gets 7, Serena had a 171 to go with her 155 average the first game. Rabideau gets 5 more pins, gives her 9. As Serena will spare hers, bringing up Laura Lee Paya. Laura Lee 140 average at 151 her first game. And she will get 9. Eagles side, Kayla Pellerin, 161 average bowler. She struggled her first game at 122. Seems to have picked it up this game. As she gets 9, leaves the 5-pin. Her first shot here in the 7th frame. Again, we're coming to you a home match. Northeastern Cougar against Beekmantown Eagles. As Laura Lee spares, so does Pellerin. It's going to bring up the 4th bowlers, Sorrell and Kaplan. Again, Kaplan at a 192 game to go with her 169 average. Sorrell 149 average. She had a 143 game. As Sorrell strikes, Kaplan will get 7. She will leave the 3, 9, 10 spare. Bayshard working on a triple. She'll get 6 pins. Bayshard at a 136 her first game to go with her 167 average. As Kaplan will get 2 of her 3 pins. Bringing up anchor bowler Jess Codwell for the Eagles. Jess, 191 average. She had 179. As Bayshard gets 3 of her 4 pins. So we have 2 marks for Northeastern and 2 marks right now for the Eagles, with Codwell shooting the 10 pin. As Melody Bell, 153 average leadoff bowler for the Eagles, starts off the 8th frame with 6 pins. She bowled a nice game of 187. As Codwell will spare the 10 pin. So 3 marks for the Eagles in the 7th, 2 marks for Northeastern. The Eagles now have a 25 pin lead with 3 frames to go. As Bell will get 3 of her 4 pins. Roberts will start the 8th frame for Northeastern and she'll get 9. Roberts 191 average leadoff bowler at 178 her first game for the Cougars. And Roberts will spare the 4 pin as Serena Quilliam will leave the 5-10. Katie Robidoux will strike in the 8th frame. Serena will miss her 2 pins. She had the right idea, needed to hit the 5 pin light on the left side to push it into 10. Just missed it by a couple boards. As Laura Lee will get 8, leaves what there is double wood, which is 1 pin behind the other. Kayla Pellerin will get 9 for the frame, or 9 for her first shot, leaving the 10 pin. Laura Lee will get 8 for the frame. As Pellerin will be shooting the 10 pin. And she'll go by it. So all 3 bowlers for the Eagles have opened and they're in the 8th frame. 2 of 3 for Northeastern have marked. As Sorrell working on a strike leaves just the 5 pin. Kaplan for the Eagles. Gonna cross over and she'll strike. Sorrell will spare the 5 pin. Jess Codwell ending the 8th frame for the Eagles. She'll strike also. So after the first 3 bowlers for the Eagles open in the 8th, Kaplan and Codwell will strike. As Bayshard will get 8 pins. Moving to the 9th frame, leadoff bowler Cassie Roberts. She'll come up high, leaving the 3-10 split. And Bayshard will spare, so 4 bowlers for Northeast Clinton's mark. The game is within a few pins. It looks like the Eagles are about 3 pins up with 2 frames to go, and Roberts will open to start the 9th frame.
Cassie. Thank you.
As leadoff bowler Bell will leave just the 5-pin. Katie Rabideau working on a strike for Northeastern. She'll get 7. As Bell misses the 5-pin. So the first leadoff bowlers in the 9th frame for both teams have opened. Roberts for Northeastern, Bell for the Eagles. A second bowler, Rabideau, spares for the Cougars. Serena Quilliam gets 9 for the Eagles. Laura Lee will come up high and she'll leave the 6-10 spare. Serena will spare in the 9th. And Laura Lee will spare also. Kayla Pellerin will get 8 pins, leaving the 1-3. First game of this match was won by the Eagles, and it's a tight one right now with a frame and a half to go as Sorrell strikes in the 9th for the Cougars. Pellerin will also spare. So after 3 bowlers apiece, 2 spares apiece after 3, 4th bowler for Northeastern, Sorrell has already struck as Kristen Bayshard gets 5, her first shot in the 9th. Kaplan and Codwell are working on strikes in the 8th for Beekmantown. Has Kaplan doubles here in the 8th and 9th. Bayshard's going to get 4 of her 5 pins. Codwell working on a strike for the Eagles will leave just the 10 pin. As Bell begins the 10th frame, she'll strike. Codwell to shoot the 10 pin. She dropped the ball, but it went there and went straight as a string to it. So aided by the double from Kaplan, the Eagles are up 20 pins going into the last frame as Bell starts them off with a double. Roberts to start the 10th for Northeastern, and she'll leave just the 4 pin. Bell will finish with 3 strikes. She will go 141. So that's 12 pins under her 153 average. As Roberts will spare. Bringing up the second bowler, Serena Quilliam. As Quilliam will leave just the 5 pin. Roberts will strike her fill ball in a 10th. She'll go 157. That'll be 35 pins under her 190, 34 pins under her 191 average. As Quilliam will spare the 5 pin, Rabidou will get 8. Quilliam will go 133, which is 22 pins under her 155 average. As Rabidou misses her 2 pins, she'll go 121. Which is 12 pins under her 133 average. As Laura Lee will strike. Kayla Pellerin left the 10 pin, her first shot here in the 10th. Pellerin will spare the 10 pin. Laura Lee looking for a double, and she'll get 9. And Kayla will get 8 for her fill ball. She'll go 169, which is 8 pins above her 161 average. Laura Lee will go 150. That'll be 10 pins above her 140 average. Kaplan working on a double, looking for a triple. She'll get 6. Ball didn't come back quick enough for her. As Sorrell also looking for a double. She gets 9. And we're moving to the 4th bowlers of the second game. Kaplan will spare. Sorrell will miss the 7 pin. So it's pretty much said and done now with the triple to end the game by Bell. All spares by the next 3 bowlers for the Eagles. As Kaplan gets a split in her fill ball, she'll have another nice game of 196. She'll go 27 pins above her 169 average. As Codwell shoots, she'll come up high, leaves a 3-10 split. Bayshard will get 6 for her first shot in the 10th. She'll spare. But again, like I said, first 4 bowlers have all marked for the Eagles. 2 of 4 bowlers have marked for the Cougars, as Codwell will go 178. She'll be 13 pins under her 191 average, as Bayshard will strike. She'll go 176, which will be 9 pins above her average. And the Cougars girls will lose the game by 30 pins, as the Beekmantown Eagle girls have won the first 2 and are up 87 pins on total. And we shall be right back.
Clear it out again. Come on, I don't know how to zoom in or
We'd like to welcome you here to the 3rd game of the boys B match. As we had a little downtime here with I believe there was a pole that got hit outside, and it caused a power surge which screwed up the scoring, so they're trying to revamp all the scoring now. We'll try to get what happened here as we see Jeremy Ballard get a spare for Northeastern. Brian Daniels open for the Eagles.
Don't work? Hey, Johnny, I can't do this. Hey, just tell them to stop for a minute.
They gotta hit reset on 12.
Looks alright.
Fasting. Hit reset on 12.
Ball's not running.
As we have Kelly Poisson going to be shooting for Northeastern. He gets 8 pins, as that was Billy West that opened for the Eagles earlier, and Brian Daniels just opened, as Poisson will get the spare.
Yeah, something happens again. We're doing a lot of games. Well, that kid knew what he had. You sure he shot something early in the 190? He opened the first. Oh, okay. He opened the first 5.
As we have Andy Barcombe getting 7 for Northeastern. Phil Tuzanaw, 167 average anchor bowler for the Eagles. He gets 8, leaving the 6-10. As Tuzanov spares, Barcombe will get 2 of his 3. Again, this is the match between the Cougars of Northeastern and the Eagles of Beekmantown, as Joe Hack's ball went backwards. Just starts over again, as long as it doesn't cross the foul line going forward, and he will strike. So, guess he needed a little help there, as leadoff bowler Joe Hack for Northeastern. 169 average leadoff bowler. And for Beekmantown, Sean Riley, 132 average. Sean started with a strike. He'll get 4 pins. He'll get 4 more, 8 for the frame. As Bryce Gadway will get 7 and miss them all. Coming to you from the Bowl Mart in Rouse's Point. Match between the Cougars of Northeastern and the Eagles of Beekmantown. Second bowler Jeremy Garrett, 149 average. He'll get 9, as Ballard for Northeastern, Jeremy Ballard, 146 average bowler. He'll get 7. Guerin opens.
Chris, I get the white sheet, please.
Ballard will pick up his spare. And we have up now, we have Billy West. West, 129 average bowler for the Eagles. He had his first 2 games, 143, 126. It's Kelly Poisson for Northeastern. Poisson is a 160 average bowler. He had games of 136 and 178. First game was won by, as West opens, first game was won by the Eagles, 941 to 917. As Poisson spares, led by Phil Tuzanov's 207 game. But the Cougars storm back in the second game, 1072 to 831. As 3 190 games for the Cougars, 196 from Joe Hack, 190 from Bryce Gadway, and 192 from Andy Barcombe, as Barcombe strikes here in the second frame for Northeastern. Barcombe, 173 average anchor bowler. He shot games of 143 and 192. As a fourth bowler for the Eagles, Brian Daniels, 151 average. He had games of 161 and 156. Hack, leadoff bowler for Northeastern, 169 average. He had games of 155, 196. Gadway, Bryce Gadway, 152 average, 168 and 190, his two games. As West spares. Jeremy Ballard, 146 average bowler. He had games of 170 and 167. Poisson, 160 average bowler, 132 and 178. And again, Barcombe, 173 average, games of 143 and 192. On the Beekmantown side, as we see Tuzanoff end the second frame, it's coming up a little high. Leaves just the 6-pin. Tuzanoff, 167 average bowler. He had games of 207 and 162. Daniels, 151 average. He had games of 161, 156. The second bowler, West, 129 average. He had games of 143 and 126. As Tuzanoff spares. So after two frames complete, there's a 20-pin lead by the Eagles of Beekmantown with 8 frames to go. They're getting spotted 39 pins as they have 188 pins handicap to 149 for Northeastern. As leadoff bowler Sean Riley. Riley, a 132 average bowler for the Eagles at games of 144-97. Hack for the Cougars gets 8 pins. And last bowler, second bowler Jeremy Garrett, 149 average. He had games of 98 and 102. As Riley opens, Hack will spare. So right now, after 2 games complete, the Cougar girls have lost both of them to the Eagles from Beekmantown. The boys A and B have both split 1-1. And again, we'll try to get the updates of all that's going on as soon as we can. As we see Bryce Gadway strike for Northeastern. Jeremy Garrett has struck for the Eagles. So did Billy West for the Eagles, and so did Jeremy Ballard for Northeastern. So bringing up the fourth bowlers, Brian Daniels for the Eagles as he gets 7. Kelly Poisson for Northeastern. He'll strike. Has Hack led off with a spare. The next 3 bowlers, Gadway, Ballard, and Poisson all strike. Bringing up the anchor bowler, Barcombe. As Daniels will get 2 of his 3 pins. So after Riley opened, Garrett and West strike, Daniels opens, bringing up the anchor bowler for them, Tuzanoff, as Barcombe comes up high, leaves just the 6-pin. Again, we'd like to welcome our viewers from the Northeastern New York. And if you'd like to be a viewer patron, Hometown Cable, 1477 Ridge Road, Champlain, New York, 12919. As Barcombe spares, Tuzanoff gets 7. So all 5 bowlers for Northeastern will mark in the 3rd frame, as 2 of the 3 have marked so far for Beekmantown. Bringing up Tuzanoff to finish the game. Tuzanoff chops 2 off the 3, so they have 3 opens for the Eagles. So it is now a 30-pin lead by the Cougars of Northeastern, as we have 7 frames to go. Riley gets 1 on his first shot. Hack will get 8. Tackle spare, as I believe we're waiting for a ball for the other bowler from Beekmantown. As we have Mr. Welch hollering to the desk, see what we can get. We see Gadway getting 7 pins his first shot. As the ball is returned, we will have Riley shooting his 9 pins. Again, we will update on all scores before the end of the day, as the boys B match is only in the 4th frame. The girls A and boys A are starting to finish, so we'll have plenty of time to recap what we need. As Gadway will spare. As Riley will miss all of his pins, he'll get 1 for the frame. Ballard will leave the 4-6-7 split, and Garrett will leave the 3-10 split, as Ballard will get none of his 3 pins. Garrett will get 1 of his 2. Well, bringing up the 3rd bowler, Billy West. West working on a strike. And West will get 6 pins, his first shot. Again, if you see Calvin at some of these sporting events, you want to thank him for some of the shows you're seeing. As West will get 2 of his 4 pins. So the first 3 bowlers for Beekmantown have opened here in the 4th frame. Poisson will get 7. First 2 bowlers have marked in for the Cougars, along with openings from Ballard. We have Poisson shooting his 7 spare, and he will get 1 of his 3. Brian Daniels will get 7 also. Daniels will get 2 of his 3 as Barcombe comes up light, leaving the 2, 5, 7, 8 split. So anchor bowler Phil Tuzanoff. Phil will get 7 as Barcombe will get 3 of his 4 pins. So after Hack and Gadway spare to begin the 4th frame for Northeastern, Ballard, Poisson, and Barcombe open. And all 4 bowlers so far for the Eagles have opened as Tuzanoff will spare. So it will be a 50-pin lead for the Cougars of Northeastern with 6 frames to go. As O'Reilly will get 3 to start the 5th frame. Hack will get 7. Riley shooting 7 pins up. And he will cover his spare.
Jamie, all on 15. 15.
As we're waiting for a ball again on lane 15. We will see on lane 16. Jeremy Garrett. 149 average bowler. He'll get 7 pins. This Hack's ball is back. Garrett will shoot his 3 pins and he will cover it. Hack will miss the 3 pins he had. Billy West for the Eagles. West will strike. Bryce Gadway will get 8. As Gadway will shoot his 5-9 spare. Bryce, 152 average bowler. And he will cover his spare. As Billy West struck. We have Daniels getting 8 split as Jeremy Ballard gets 8, 1-2, leaves a 1-2. Daniels will get 1 of his 2, Ballard will spare. Bringing up Tuzanoff. Tuzanoff will be finishing the 5th frame for the Eagles. As Poisson gets 7. Again, we welcome you viewers. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Right there. Poisson will spare. Hack will begin the 6th frame for the Cougars, and he'll strike. Barcombe's going to finish it up in the 5th frame for Northeastern. Has He will get 7. Gadway will leave just the 5 pin. Barcombe shooting his spare and he covers it nicely. So we have 4 of the 5 bowlers marking in the 5th frame for both teams. And the Cougars will still be up by 50 pins with half a game to go. As Gadway spares in the 6th. We see Riley for the Eagles. He'll get 6 pins. As Jeremy Ballard will leave just a 10 pin for the Eagles. I'll get the. Then as the coach for Northeastern, Mr. Welch, has given me the papers for the other games as we see spares by Ballard and Riley. We have a 3-1 victory for the Cougar Boys A, led by Adam Chapola's 226, 233, 648 bowling. Roberts chips in 237, 578. Tierney goes 212, 545. On the Beekmantown side, we have Josh Laporte, 216, 585. Tony Carter, 203, 213, 586. 202, 572 for Darren Newell. 204 for Vaughn. So the Northeast Cougars A win 3-1 over Beekmantown. As we see Garrett got gutter in 7. Billy Westall's double in the 5th and 6th frame for the Eagles. On the girls' side, the Cougar girls squeaked out the last game, 967 to 921, but lost total by 90 pins. As a beautiful bowling by Jerry Kaplan from the Eagles, 196, 192, 562. Jessica Caldwell, 178, 179, 180, 537. As Kelly Poisson for the Cougars gets 9 pins, leaves a solid 10. Daniels for Beekmantown leaves the 5-10 split. Poisson misses the 10 pin. On the girls' side for Northeastern, Kristen Bayshard 193, 176, 505. Laura Lee Payad 189 and 490. 178, 167, 157 for Cassie Roberts 502. So Eagle girls win 3-1. Boys A for Northeastern wins 3-1. And again, we'll as soon as the B is done, we'll let you know. It's a 1-1 split here, with the Cougars up by about 120 pins. As Daniels open for the Eagles, 2s and off, doubles for the Eagles. As Barcombe splits, leaving the 4-6-7. So here in the 5th frame, after the 6th frame, we have 5 marks for the Eagles, as Hack doubles for Northeastern. It's about a 40 pin difference with 4 frames to go. Cougars on top. As O'Reilly will strike for the Eagles, Gadway will strike for the Cougars. We're in the 7th frame of the final game This is the B match. Has Jeremy Garrett get the ball out there wide, missed the head pin completely, but he had a messenger come back and sweep the 3 pins, just like dominoes. The 4 into the 2 into the head pin. So that'll be 2 strikes to start off the 7th for the Eagles. And West, who is on 2 strikes, looking for a triple, he'll get 6. As Ballard leaves a 7 pin and he misses it. First 2 bowlers for each team struck here in the 7th. Hack and Gadway for the Cougars. Riley and Garrett for the Eagles. As the second bowlers, Billy West spares for the Eagles. Ballard open for Northeastern. Kelly Poisson will strike for the Cougars. As 4th bowler Brian Daniels will cross over and he'll also strike. We're down to the anchor bowlers, Tuzanoff and Barcombe. Barcombe is going to come up high, leaving the 6-10. Tuzanoff on a double, looking for a triple. And he comes up light, leaving the 2-8-10 spare as Barco misses his 2 pins. So Northeastern will get 4 marks, aided by the double from Hack. The Eagles have the first 4 have marked, and Tuzanoff has a nasty split to shoot at. Right now it is 40 pin difference. Has Tuzanoff given a run, he got 2 of the 3 pins. So it's 39 pins with 3 frames to go. Cougars on top. Leadoff bowler Riley working on a strike, leaves just the 7 pin. Hack working on a double, leaves the 4 pin. Sit down now, sit down there. Sit down.
Don't worry, I'm thinking about it. I'll take it.
Leadoff bowlers shooting the spares. Riley misses the 7 pin. Hack gets the 4 pin. As the crowd comes alive.
This is going to be pretty bad.
Jeremy Garrett gets 9 pins, leaves the 7 pin as Bryce Gadway gets 8, leaves the 3-6. We're coming to you from the Bowl Mart in beautiful Route 11. In between Rouse's Point and Champlain. As Garrett misses the 7 pin, Gadway spares. So the first 2 bowlers have opened for the Eagles. The Cougars, on the other hand, have had their first 2 bowlers mark. Bringing the 3rd bowlers West and Ballard as West leaves just the 5 pin. Jeremy Ballard is going to come up high, leaving the 3-6 spare. We're in the home stretch here. The Cougars will go on the road for their next 2 matches, and then they'll be at home against league leading AuSable Valley for their final match. As both 3rd bowlers West and Ballard mark here in the 8th. The Cougars would like to cut in the lead and probably have a minimum of be behind by about 4 games. And with a home match here, hoping to edge out the championship. As Daniels doubles. Poisson looking for a double. He leaves the 6-pin. Again, Sable Valley today is on the road in Mineville, which when Northeastern went there, they only took 1 out of 8 points. Mineville kind of has a home advantage or Mariah has a home advantage in Mineville. They bowl in the BFW there. As Tuzanov comes up high, leaves his second split in a row, the 6-7. Poisson will spare the 6-pin. Tuzanov split, he wants to hit the 6-pin real thin on the right-hand side, pushing it into the 7. That's the normal way of getting it. The other way is to pound it to the wall and hope like hell it bounces out and hits the 7.
Hey, this is a public broadcast.
As Barcombe will strike here in the 8th frame. Tuzanov will get one of his 2 pins. So all 5 bowlers for Northeastern mark in the 8th frame. The double from Daniels is the only 2 marks set, with a spare from West will be for the Eagles. 70-pin lead for Northeastern with 2 frames to go as Hack gets 6 pins. Riley will get 9. There's 8 teams in the conference in the league. So they bowl home and home. They have 7 matches home, 7 away. Total of 14 matches as Riley spares. So does Hack. Again, the league itself is handicapped. And then after that, they bowl 1-day tournament, 6 games, to see which team represents Section 7 in the sectionals. As Jeremy Garrett will strike. Bryce Gadway will get 7 pins. We're on the last 2 lanes at the Bowl Mart Lanes, 15 and 16. That's where the B team is home to. As Billy West will get 8 pins. Gadway will miss. We're in the 9th frame of the last game. Home match for Northeastern against the Eagles from Beekmantown. And if you're just starting to pick up the broadcast, you can check the Calvin lineup to see when it's on again. Start from the first match and watch all 3 as both Ballard will strike as West spared. Both third bowlers will mark in the 9th. Brian Daniels working on a double, looking for a turkey, and he'll cross over and he'll get just 9 pins. He'll leave just the 3-pin. As Poisson will also cross, come high, and he'll leave just the 6-pin. As Poisson moves the hair out of his eyes. Daniels will spare, so the first 4 bowlers for the Eagles have all marked in the 9th frame. As Poisson spares for Northeastern. We have 3 out of the first 4 bowlers for the Cougars mark. Bringing up the anchor bowlers, Tuzanov and Barcombe. As Tuzanov's got it out there, going to cross. He'll strike on the Brooklyn side. Barcombe will get 7. So all 5 bowlers for the Eagles are marked in the 9th frame. And 3 of the 4 right now have marked for Northeastern as Hack starts the 10th off with 8 pins as Barcombe opens So 3 of 5 mark in the 9th for the Cougars as Hack spares to start the 10th. 30 pins lead for Northeastern going into the last frame. As Hack is already marked, Riley will get 3 pins. As my cameraman, John Winnick's fishing for some sights here. As Hack will go 183. That'll be 13 pins above his 169 average. As Riley will miss his 3 pins, he'll go 115. That'll be 17 pins under his 132 average as Gadway strikes. Again, the teams they combine the points between the A and B, so it's not like one team will be better than the other, whatever, because they combine them. As Poisson will get, Gadway will get 7 his second shot in the 10th. Garrett will get 4 his first shot in the 10th. And Garrett will spare his 4. As Gadway will miss his 3 pins he's shooting at. He'll go 162, which will be 10 pins above his 152 average. And Garrett will go 128. He'll be 21 pins under his 149 average. As Ballard will leave just a 7 pin. We have Bill West on lane 15 for the Eagles. He will come up high, leaves a 4, 7, 10 split. As Ballard's ball left the playing surface, come back to hit the 10 pin or 7 pin. It does not count. James, have him reset 16. It's on the second ball. Again, Ballard's ball. Oh, nice spare by Billy West. Textbook spare, hitting the 4 pin on the light on the left-hand side, pushing it into the 10 pin. West shooting his fill ball after a nice spare. He gets 3. He goes 156. So that's 27 pins above his 129 average. As Ballard missed the 7 pin, he goes 156 also. And Ballard is 10 pins above his 146 average. So there's a 50 pin difference with 2 bowlers left to go. As Daniels will get 9. Poisson will strike. Nice ball by Poisson. As Daniels will miss. Daniels will go 139. 138 will be 13 pins under his 151 average. As Poisson working on a strike, looking for a double. He'll cross over and get it. So Poisson will double in the 10th. We have Tuzanov finishing up the 10th for the Eagles. He's working on a strike. He's looking for a double. Comes up light and gets 6 pins. As Poisson will get 29 for the frame. Go 181. So that'll be 21 pins above his 160 average. And the damage has been done as the Eagles will come up short. And there's a spare by Tuzanoff. Barcombe will come up, leaving just the 6-10. The Cougars are winning the game by 70 pins with one shot each left. So the Eagles, as Barcombe misses his spare, the Cougars will win the boys match 6-2 after losing the first game of each the A and B. They come back, win the second game pretty big, and hold on to win the third game, carry the total for the night. As Tuzanoff strikes, he goes 169, 2 pins above his 167 average. Barcombe ends with 122, which is, I'll find it here yet, which is 51 pins under his average. And we have 6-2 win for Northeastern Clinton boys and a 3-1 win for the Eagle girls, coming to you from the Bowl Mart. Hope to see you around.